We are live. Hello. I'm
Hi,
just going to
hello.
tweet this really quick. There we
Great.
are. And
Social.
hello, Catherine. You're like super early. So
Welcome.
welcome. Hopefully you enjoy the stream. We usually spend about like 10 to 15 minutes talking just to get people in here. And then we'll start into I think we're gonna do 25 minute sprints because you do better with 25, right?
I'm fine either way.
Okay.
I like both, so I'm good with
Okay,
either.
sounds good.
I do different things.
Hello, Nina. It's been a
Hi.
bit. So, uh, if you are a longtime viewer, you know Jade. Jade has been here for intermittently every once in a while, but Jade
Yep.
Juniper is I guess you're mostly on do booktube things when you do them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mostly do booktube. I'm on Instagram for books as well, but I've been writing pretty much since the pandemic. I guess I'm a pandemic writer. I don't write about the pandemic. It's just when I started. Um, so yeah, I've been writing for a little bit, and Yumi's been very helpful in that process. So, been dipping my toe in, and I've been pretty much just doing live shows on my channel um, for the foreseeable future because I have a lot going on, but I like to write.
I yeah. I was gonna
And
say
editing
same,
this part.
honestly. So
Yeah.
yeah, been doing these for over
Your
a year
channel
now.
actually looks so nice though with all the live shows because they all the they're so consistent.
Oh,
Like like with just live shows on your
mhm.
channel, it's like this is the promise of what you're getting is like you're getting bi-weekly writing sprints. Like you got, you and Cheyenne. I'm not
Yeah.
Cheyenne, by the way. I'm the substitute. Cheyenne's not here. But like it looks so like good. It
Oh,
looks
I'm
it looks nice. Like the
awesome.
equipment, like
Canva.
yeah,
Canva.
nice. Yeah. Yeah. So your channel looks great.
Thanks. So yeah, awesome. And if you want to come back in, like, over, because again, we're going to be doing this for a couple of hours at least. Hopefully, there's that. But good
Yes.
to see you here all really early. I know it's like 6 a.m. for some of you.
Wow. Yeah. What are you eating for breakfast? Just out of
Yeah.
curiosity. I had like a really good quiche for lunch. It was fantastic.
Oh
But
no. I may be.
are you glitching? Am I
I
glitching or are
you're
you?
you're glitching, but my thing has the issue.
Oh, okay. I'm right now. You're freezing a little bit.
Okay, I think it just like reset.
It's like figured its stuff out.
Yeah.
Its issues. Okay.
My goodness. This is gonna be great. It'll be like last time.
Last time was so chaotic. I watch. I am also a lurker, Catherine. I watch all of the live shows, and last one was so chaotic, but it fit the mood so well because you guys were like, "We're tired. We're fine. Let's
The
go.
internet was tired
Have
too.
fun." Yeah, the internet was also tired. So, but
Cool. Life's been crazy the past few weeks, but I'm working on a new book. Would you care
ooh,
to tell us what your book is about?
yeah,
'Cause
nice.
yeah, I will be editing because sneaky pen name things possibly because I need money. So
Fantastic.
it's yeah.
Makes sense.
It's noon where I live, but I have not started. Okay,
Mm,
good, good, good.
it's okay. It's 8 p.m. where I live, and I have not started writing. So,
Well, I was gonna
yeah.
say this was the space for writing, so
Yes.
you know. Yeah, I've actually speaking of been trying to get myself to like work-life balance. Not work-life balancing. I would have just taken your novel, like edited.
I'm not I'm not
Thing.
not having a reaction. You froze. So if you're saying something that's like
Oh, yeah, it's
profound,
fine.
I'm not like, oh yeah, I just don't care.
No, you're good.
Like just so you know.
Oh
I'm
my
like, should I
god.
look
What is it?
happy? What if she's telling me someone died?
Oh my god, no, absolutely not. No, I'm trying to have, like, a work-life balance thing because,
Okay.
like, otherwise I would've just, like, probably just blown through your entire book and, like, edited the whole thing, but I'm like, "Okay, 1 chapter a day at most," and then I won't for 3 days because I'm like, "No, I need to take care of myself. I need to be happy."
Always take care of yourself. If I find out that you're editing my book on a day where you were supposed to be doing something loving towards yourself, I will set you
No.
on fire because I
I
love you and I
and
care about you.
that's the thing of, like, I feel I'm having a problem with that, like, I have this thing that I should be doing, but then I have this thing, but then I also, but then I have this
Right.
thing.
Yeah. No, there's never any like yeah. Never choose my book over
Okay.
self-care. That is
But it is
anti
self-care,
that
I
book.
like doing it.
Yeah, no.
It's YA contemporary about grief, mental health, and finding oneself through friendship. It has 2 POV characters and a romance subplot. Excellent.
That's
That sound
lovely. I love
Yeah,
when friendships are used to better understand, like, yourself, and it's not, like, just a supplementary, like, "Oh, yeah, and of course she has friends,"
yeah,
that sort of thing, like, when friendship is actually part of, like, the growing experience and, like, all of that,
it's
I love it.
impactful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually, I think, some of my favorite types of stories have a, like, finding answers and those sorts of things through friends because honestly, like, as far as my experience goes, like, when it comes to friends, those are how, like, you can connect and find that deeper thing with yourself. So that's
Yeah.
cool. That's really good. Right
Yeah.
on.
Good.
You seem to have cleared up as far as internet things, so
Yeah, the notification said that we're okay again, but
oh, good.
we had so, we had rain, like, cold rain for, like, the last couple weeks, and in the last couple weeks alone, we've had essentially half of what we're supposed to have for the winter in those 2 weeks. So, like,
Jeez.
half of our water table has come down.
Right. From what I
Yeah, so
understand, your weather has been a little finicky to say the least. So,
yeah. Yeah, so
I can see how the internet might be also a bit finicky.
yeah, so I'm hoping that it's fine now,
Yeah, yeah.
but we'll see.
No, every time I'm in Alaska, I just assume, like, because I go and visit, um, I always have, like, really, like, just terrible internet, and, like, I remember that just some pla like, 'cause Vincent, my partner, always is like, we have to have internet. We always have to have internet. Like, it has to be like, oh, hotspot, like all this stuff. And
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, okay. So I like always have internet. And then I go to a place like my family's house where they're like, oh yeah, no, we just, we have like it's like the most just bare bones of
yeah.
Wi-Fi. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I can live like this. I got this. I'm like, okay, no, everything's breaking. So.
No, I have unfortunately become very, spoiled to that as well because my husband is Mr. IT, like, "Okay, well, we have this dead spot, so we gotta get this connection, and we gotta do this," and it's like,
Yes.
"Okay, cool, I have internet everywhere, I c"
Right, yeah. No, there's doors positioned in my house where it's like, "This door should always be open." I'm like, "Why?" It's like, "Because
Waves.
for the internet," and I'm like, "What? It's coming through the door?" So, you know, everyone has their strengths, it's not me and the internet, but it's
No.
okay. Yeah.
It's all good. Alright, well, it's been about 10, so I think maybe we should start. Think
Yes. Right.
Okay, so let's get that going. We have some forest sounds and music today. So,
Ooh, forest sounds and music. Very
all
nice.
right. So, see you in about 25 minutes. And that's 25. So,
Hello.
hi. How'd that go?
Good. It went really good. It would be really, because it's a first draft of what I'm doing, because
Mhm.
I'm working on prequel stuff. I don't think I could give a solid number because some of it I was like literally my eyes closed listening to a song
Mm.
that like kind of encapsulates like the scene I've already written. So I'm
Mhm.
like trying to write it, do it better. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know how many words I got on the page, but I fixed words and wrote new words, but they were like in the middle of paragraphs. How about you?
Gotcha. I had to do a bit of research because I was like, wait, because I'm doing like a Regency era park, and I'm like, I know that they went to parks a lot, and like I used to live in London, so here we go. And then I was like, wait, did this park exist? And it didn't to the
Yeah,
public. So I'm
yeah.
like, okay, we gotta research. So I did a lot of research this time around.
Yeah,
Good.
when I was doing food stuff, like I was describing different foods, I was like, would we call it that? Like there's like a couple times where I'm like, "Ugh, I gotta look up if that food even existed and like what I'm
Yeah.
gonna be doing with it. Like if I need to like come up with a new word for the food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My
But
goodness.
yeah, no, it was a good 25-minute sprint.
Good, good.
Productive.
So,
Oh.
hey, just hopping in and working on implementing some dev edits for book one. Excellent. Middle grade.
Oh,
And
I love middle grade.
yeah. Started brainstorming a solid plot. I need at least a little bit of a plot. Can't be all vibes. I know.
I've been
I'm
hearing great things
feeling
about
that.
Legends and Lattes, and apparently that is
It,
all vibes. But
ooh,
so you
okay.
don't need too much plot. You just need good characters and a good vibe. But
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people really fucking like plot, so you might want a
Well,
little bit
it's that
just for the
like
fun of it.
it's the triangle like where they have the like if it's more one way and the
Yes,
those
yeah,
charts. Yeah, it's
yeah.
all vibes with just a little bit of the other ones.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I know. I had to the first time you read my book, I'm pretty sure you read it, and I was like, "So is there a plot?" And you're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Are you sure?" And you're like, "I mean, it needs to be better, but it's there."
I
I was like,
mean, like,
"Oh, good." Because I just felt like I had themes, which I find to be really important, but
mhm.
I mean, just having themes, like, you gotta put them somewhere.
Yeah, you do. It was
Yeah.
just like there was no urgency to
Yeah, yeah.
anything.
Is
So, and like in fairness, there wasn't any urgency. Like they're
Nope.
kids having fun. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, urgency comes later. Urgency
mhm.
comes with what I'm writing now. Right now, I'm
Yeah.
trying to write urgency, so I'm just listening to the same urgent songs over and over again, so I feel a bit more urgent.
Mhm. I love writing playlists. I've spent like way too long be like, yes, this is exactly the song that I need for this particular
Yeah,
chapter. So just
yes.
gonna and then go chapter by chapter, just outline it. I'm like, yes, we got this.
Yeah. I'll have to once you're done reading this draft,
Hmm.
I want to show you one of the songs that I listened to
Hmm.
after I'd written the zero trash draft that you first did, and I was like, you're like this fight scene that's like towards the very very dead end.
Hmm.
You're like this fight scene needs like a bit of something. I don't know what it,
Hmm.
but I like listened to this one song over and over again while I was rewriting it and I like liked it better afterwards. I was like, so I started doing that for all of my rewrites. Like I try and
Oh,
find a song to match the scenes that you were like, do this. I have a
mhm.
song for when I rewrote describing like the village, the
Okay.
town, and you
Hmm.
were like, "Oh, I really like that scene." I'm like, I wonder if she'd like the song.
Honestly, probably
So
like,
like yeah, there's been a couple of things where I'm like, oh, okay, because I can't listen to music while I'm writing because like
okay,
words and dyslexia intermingling and then going down for me personally don't work. For some
yeah,
people it totally works, and I envy that, but I also can read in the car without getting car sick. So like everyone has trade-offs.
yeah.
So, yeah, but yeah, music.
Okay.
Ooh, we got some
So
comments here.
we got some comments. So,
I know.
first,
People
finished my
clapping.
essential morning stuff. Wound up editing chapter three of necessity and wrote a very short blurb for chapter four. Excellent.
Ooh, nice. I I love doing the blurb of the chapter beforehand.
Hmm.
Every so often I'm able to do it where I kind of have a clear idea of what I want. And so I'll like just do a little blurb of it and then it reminds me and every
Hmm.
single time it's a better better put together chapter. But
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like I have no idea. I have to write it and then I'll know. So,
So these used to be really popular, and then they sort of fell out of favor, and I kind of understand why, and I don't understand. But you know how like chapters used to have titles
yes.
for
Some middle
me,
grades still do, but
yeah,
yeah.
some middle, yeah. So, but like the like adult end, like it used to be really, really
Yes.
popular and then just fell out of favor. But that for me, it's like, okay, I need to name this chapter something, and it's going to be the thing that I focus on. And if I title the chapter, that is what reminds me instead of a blurb, it's the title for me.
Yes. So that's exactly how I do it too. I like you'll notice all of my chapters do have titles,
Yeah.
and those are specifically to remind me what the F I'm talking about. Like, there's a title chapter, The Bear. I'm halfway through the chapter and I was like, oh
Oh,
shit, the
yeah.
bear. So like, you know, the bear ended up being in there, but not originally when I was first writing. I was like, oh man.
I guess
Yeah.
we'll just have to rewrite it. So
Yeah. Yep. Do it again.
yeah.
It's okay. I
All
wasn't sure if I was
right.
killing people off yet. So.
It is paranormal mystery. This is the middle grade. More mystery
Ooh.
than spook with ghost stories. Excellent.
Oh, that we need so many more of those kind of middle grade too.
Hmm.
Like really like I remember growing up not having any like beside you get goosebumps where you're like, well, that was scarring. And then
Yeah.
you know like you get either scarring books or you would get like really kind of like goofy books where I was like,
Yeah.
I need that
Good
like
middle ground.
middle grade, middle of the
Yes.
road. Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah. No,
I've used
I think that this kind of thing is very, very slowly becoming more popular because
Mhm.
when we were kids and like that middle grade, they didn't really
Yeah.
exist. But now that, I'm like more into the book sphere and like looking back,
Yes.
there's much more. And I'm like, this is the book that I needed when I was in middle
Yeah.
grade.
No, so that's super cool. Like, go for it.
Yeah.
Do it.
I worry that my characters are flat. It's writing different kids though. They don't fret over the world like the way that adults do. I'm so see that imposter syndrome will slow down. Yeah, and like I don't know. I say you said you were in an edit process, but like this is what beta readers are for, critique partners, and hopefully they'll help.
Yeah, because you have your characters. Like that was a thing where literally my main character, Yumi's feedback from me was she's like, I feel like I don't know your main character. I'm like, oh, well, I know. I
Hmm.
know her. So, like in re-editing, knowing which characters are just not reaching the reader, it's not that your character's flat, it's that you haven't gotten them onto the page yet. The page is just
Yeah.
flat and you just haven't 3D modeled it. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just yeah,
It'll be good.
it'll be good. It'll be great. It's gonna be a spooky middle grade.
Yeah. Many of my stories are very theme heavy and lacking plot, and uh, though I know what I want to happen, it's not plot, just random scenes. Yeah, I I uh, I don't want to like tell anyone to be like this is the way to do it. But definitely,
Work for me.
I
You told me
know.
how to do it.
Like the suggestions that I have are just like I have this thing because I did that for a long time too, where I'm like, this is sort of plot and it's not, but like actually like all of the actual plot points, like putting them out like on a line and then trying to be like, okay, well, this is like one chunk, this is another chunk, this is another chunk. And I don't know if you've heard of the Fichtean curve or it goes by a couple different names, but it looks like essentially like a triangle where it's supposed to be building up to a point, and then you have the crisis moment, like the penultimate thing that happens, and then all the stuff that follows it into the descent. If it sort of follows that curve, I guess it would be like this to you guys. um like if it does that generally, then you've created your plot. Like that's just a plot outline. And it's I think a lot of people will actually like try to fill in all of the blanks, and for some people that works. But if you want to like sort of fix what's already there, that's usually a good way to just like check yourself. It's a litmus test essentially.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps.
You said something similar because I also very much so vibes.
Hmm.
But like it was something that helped me because I already had what was basically gonna happen, but a
Hmm.
lot changed. Like as you see, I've done some edits, and it's literally just taking what I have and then taking the moment where there would be something in a plot
Hmm.
and like upping the stakes or like just changing to the moment to make it a little bit more of
Mhm.
that moment in that area, and then just continuing on with vibes until the next moment too. So
Yeah.
it's like you can have plenty of vibes. Like
Yeah.
it works for so many people. But yeah,
Yeah,
no,
definitely.
having the plot structure was helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I hate like be like here's structure because this is an art form, but unfortunately it helps.
I mean, but we're also on your channel and you're really good at what you do. And like, I really appreciated like your feedback and recommendations because all it is suggestions.
Yeah.
You know, you've never at one point told me like, if you, in fact, you've told me the exact opposite.
Mhm.
You've never been like, if you don't follow this advice, your book is gonna suck. You know, like you've
Yeah.
always been like literally one of my feedback points, I was like, oh, I'm not sure. Like, you're like, well, you might need to ignore me. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean ignore you? You're the one reading it. And you're like, I was like, you have like an entire background in education and writing. And you're like, I know, that's why I'm telling you, you might need to ignore me. Like, I know,
Yeah.
like, it's because
What
I have a background in it.
one of the most interesting, sorry, going off a little off the tangent, we'll go
No,
back to
good.
this in a sec. But one of the most interesting advice that I was ever given, or the thing that I was told by one of my teachers, Nella Hopkinson, was um, there are rules of writing, and it's your job. If you can get away with breaking them, you should.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But like but it's essentially you know the rule and then you purposefully break it and you see if you can get away with it.
Right. You
Because
got to get away with it.
yeah,
If you're not getting away with it, then that's when it's not working.
yeah, and
Like,
maybe you should go back to figuring
yeah,
out
you got
why
to
that
scheme
thing
better.
works. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
fun. It's great.
Yeah.
Here we go. So, this is the first time I've edited my own stuff, first completed drafts, but I've done developmental edits for others, and trust that just scenes is enough until edits. Yeah,
Mm.
everyone's writing process is different. I love that. Yeah, I'm very excited. Like whenever it is that you like uh publish, or like what
Whatever you
in whatever
decide
form,
to do with
like
it.
come
Yeah.
back on here and please let us know. Like I'm excited. I should find a short course on mystery writing. I write contemporary fantasy, but mystery and adventures always seem to wander into my stories. Yeah.
Mm.
I name my chapters.
Yeah.
Currently editing The Chronicle Building. Ooh, that sounds fun. No title
Nevermore.
titles for me. I have
This is my
enough trouble titling the book. Yeah. I feel that so much.
speaking of Nevermore is like my favorite middle grade. Actually, probably one of my favorite books of all time. Of course, their chapter. It's chapter 6 and then name of chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Morning Tide. Oh, I freaking love this series. I was like, do middle grades? Did I just make that up?
No,
Yeah.
I mean I haven't read like a lot of middle grade, especially recently, but I think they still do.
I used to
Um,
read a lot, but then I realized when I was saying, oh, because middle grade do, I was like, or maybe I'm just saying books when I was younger used to
yeah.
do that. And that's when I was reading middle grade, but no, I checked and we good. I'm at
I
least
love chapter titles. I have one fantasy project I want to work on someday that'll have chapter titles, and I also want to include them in my current whip. Yeah, I
I've
feel
never
like that's something we should bring back,
I've
like
never
generally.
had it hurt. I've never read a book where the chapter title has hurt my experience.
Hmm.
Like whether it's a clever chapter title or it's like witty or it's leading in or if it's literally just something that happens, no matter what kind of chapter title, I've never had it like in any way negatively impact my experience. It would have to
I have
lie.
yeah.
Like,
I have this sense, and I don't have anything to back this up, but this may have been a patriarchal
is,
bullshit
is this a
thing.
conspiracy against the
This could be a
patriarchy?
conspiracy. I don't know, but
I'm
I
like
have
turned
this
on.
sense because like there, I mean, publishing is still very male dominated, even though there's significantly more female writers in the sphere. But like that era of book where it was like, okay, well, we need to switch over. It was the same thing of, well, we need to have pen names that sound masculine. We need to have,
uh,
if it's written by a woman, then obviously it's going to be either romance or it's, we still have this problem with like, is it YA or is it adult? Like,
right.
because it's written by a woman, people will say it's YA. But we're transitioning out of that. But I still think that like, well, if you're an adult, then you don't need a chapter title. It's just the next chapter. So
Right. Like it had some sort of
yeah,
maturity thing
thing
into
going
it.
on.
Yeah. Some something was there.
Yeah, I just had that feeling. I have nothing to back that up other than
Right.
feelings.
Yeah. Conspiracy theories. It's good.
Love uh loving the hype for my story. You're all, oh, thank you. Like I
Nice.
mean,
We just had
yeah,
to butter you up.
I know we don't normally do it at this time, but I have somebody else, Jess, and she's writing a series of stories, and like she's going through her whole process very slowly and like taking her time and doing it right, and she's going through her thing. But I'm so excited because there's shapeshifters and there's
Ooh,
like reincarnation and multiple lives, and I'm so excited for this book. Like please let me
such
be
a
a critique
sucker for
partner for you.
reincarnation. Such a sucker for reincarnation. I also
Yeah.
have a Jess, but I don't know if they're working with reincarnation. Like
But
oh, I
well,
go to Jess. Like I don't know
yeah, I was
why
gonna
I'm
say
like
no. She was
everyone's
saying
got one.
no, like it's one. I think one person remembers their multiple lives. So
Ooh, that's fun.
yeah, it sounds great. I'm so excited
I read a
for
book
the
where
books.
the plot twist was they were able to unlock something that happened in one of their lives and it like
Hmm.
unraveled a whole bunch of stuff and it turned
Oh.
out that they were being reincarnated. But then they like it was really good how it kind of just unraveled everything. Because they had the trauma from all their different lives
Hmm.
and someone had been reincarnated along with them so they could like find each other. It was like a soulmate type thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But then they fucking hated each other because they'd broken up in every lifetime.
Oh no.
So it was like, and they'd finally gotten together, but the irony was their breakups is what broke them apart because they were like,
Oh my
they
god.
remembered every one of their breakups. And I was like, this is sickening. So good though. I don't want to. I can't tell you what book it is because
Cause
it gives away the plot twist of an entire series. But if you ever stumble across it, I don't know. At some
mhm.
point in my life, I've mentioned it on my channel. So if you watch every video on my channel for the rest
Good
of
good
forever and
play.
read
Good
every
play.
book, you'll stumble across that book. You'll get invested, and by the time the plot twist happens, you'll be like, "That's that
That one.
bit. I got it." It was great.
Excellent.
You should
Oh,
totally read that. This is why I'm not on booktube anymore. Anyway,
it's
what else we
fine.
got?
The middle grade series started with me trying to find Babysitter Club and Goosebumps. It isn't that,
Yes,
but that's where we started. You got to start
yes,
somewhere.
that's great.
Yes, that's such a good idea. We'll definitely try that. I hope it helps. Scene and sequences come naturally to some. Yeah, I agree with that.
That's fantastic. I don't know
The
that
rest
for
editors are fantastic. Editors, critique partners, beta readers, all of the above. More, yep. Like, and actually, to sort of launch off this point, I feel like I like having people who are writers like look at my stuff, and I also like people who are just like strictly readers because they're coming from two very different aspects while also really enjoying the art that you are making.
yeah,
And a lot of times the writers will be the ones who are like, this thing is not working, or I think you're trying to do this, but I think you can fix it this way, and they'll give you the suggestions, and the readers are going to have that sense of, I don't like this, or I don't know what's going on with this, but you need to look at this. And sometimes they both of them will have the same thing, sometimes it's opposite, and it's always fun to see like what the readers pick up and what the writers pick up on, because the writers a lot of times will dismiss things because they're like, oh, I know what you did, I know what that was going on, and the readers will be like, no, I don't like this.
yeah.
Isn't that
No,
fun?
that's very very true. Like that's literally because I've been a reader and like I'm not gonna like down myself and be like, oh, I'm not a writer because
Mhm.
I wrote
You're a
something.
writer at this point.
Right. But I haven't written enough to really like have my strong voice and my craft down and my skills. So when I do edit, like when I do give feedback, I give feedback as a reader.
Mhm.
And I know I'll be like, I don't know what's wrong here. It'll happen with my own book too. Like I'll be like, you mean there's something wrong with the scene and it's sick and I don't know what's wrong with it. And so I'm like taking it to Dr. Yumi and being like, hi, she's sick. I don't know what's wrong with her. And you'll be like, well, obviously you didn't have this, and this happen. And like, did you think about this character arc when you were writing that? And I was like, no, thanks for the medicine. Bye. And then I just like,
Hey, speaking of Jess,
that's
hi.
Jess.
I think
Creepy and possessive, but this is me.
it's good. There are several plotting models. I finally started on Jessica's Save the Cat without plot twist. I'm an old lady but new writer. I've learned plotting through studying some plays in high school. 100%. So I don't know about Save the Cat, the writer's end, but Save the Cat, the play, like writing screenplays and whatever, very good advice. And I don't actually I don't remember if it was Save the Cat or if it was another play scripting book that I've read during the same era. But that plotting model where you put everything on a card and then you move it around to figure out where things need to go, that's what I do with sticky notes. I'm like, I need a chapter that does this. Cool. Does it go here or does it go here? Like 12 different places and then structure it that way. That is for me, the best plotting thing that I've ever got.
I'm too far into what I'm doing to do something like that, but for a project I do in the future, I would love to just try it differently just to see what happens, like how it affects my book in the end, like because that's fascinating.
Yeah. I will say that I'm not a fan of a lot of writer books, writer advice things, because I think that they're a little too prescriptive. But if you get unfortunately, if you read a lot of them and you'll find themes that are like sort of
Right.
throughout, they may call it
Something's
a different thing, but
inspired
you're like,
your
oh, yeah, like
process.
this is basically what this other person said and these three other people said as
Yeah.
well. You'll get some really good advice.
Yeah. It's the difference between advice, suggestions, and
Mhm.
like you said, prescription.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's 4:45 a.m. and I just want to say
No.
hi because I missed every other session. Well, thank you. I prefer a chapter title over a quote at the start of the. I feel like quotes have become a thing sometimes. Yeah,
Mm.
that
Yeah.
also seemed like it was a big thing for an era and then just sort of stopped.
Yeah, I tried to do a quote thing like in this the I took them out, but the draft I gave you originally had
Hmm.
like small like not quotes from my characters, but things like that. It was kind of quotey. Like
Hmm.
I don't know, it was like I don't know. It was an artsy
It
moment.
was yeah. I was gonna say I think it was like a relevant thing or like information that we needed for
Yes. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
that's what it was. Thank you for telling me about my own book.
You've done
I
like
have
several iterations of
I have a
chapters.
fake yeah, I have a fake textbook in my book, and I had quotes from the textbook, but I didn't I hated them. I won't read a textbook if I'm paying a college professor to make me read a textbook, so I couldn't read a textbook when I was trying to have fun. So there's one textbook expert excerpt in one of my chapters, and I'm like, read this or don't. My main character doesn't read it. She glosses over the whole thing. Like literally on page, it's like, anyway, she glossed over it.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
actually honestly I kind of like that though cuz like obviously like I'm reading it for like other content but also for grammar and everything so I'm like I'm
yeah,
reading it but I'm like, "Oh, this is actually really interesting." And then just nope.
yeah, no, yeah. Main character is like, anyway, and instead it has like 3 of the plot twists in
It's
the entire
that's
series.
the best. Okay, I okay.
I just tried to make it as dry as possible.
You know how prologues like some people like them, some people just absolutely hate them.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah. Cheyenne, for instance.
Yeah, who
Personal.
I have convinced needs to have a prologue in her
Should we say
book.
hi to Cheyenne just in case she doesn't come on?
Yes,
Hi,
I don't think that
Cheyenne.
she's coming on. The baby is
Okay.
there. So,
That's fine.
but
So,
hello, Cheyenne, if
hi.
you've made it this
In case
far.
she watches it back. Okay.
No,
Because you
it's
guys
good.
always do it for me, and I always feel so loved by it.
Well, because
Come
we
just
know
watch
that
it.
you go through like 3 hours of our content.
I do. I literally, I'll do the dishes. I'll have like my headphones, I'll have it off on the thing. I'll watch the entire thing.
Oh, thank you.
So it's like at some point, like I always get a, oh yeah, hi Jade. And I'm like,
We like you. What can we say?
thanks.
But well, I totally forgot what I was gonna go off on. Oh no, but the prologue thing.
Oh, yeah.
It like I love when essentially just using readers' habits against them because I'm like, no, I'm gonna make it really obvious that you need to read the prologue, and if you don't read the prologue, you are screwed. I don't get this thing. Well, because it harkened back to the prologue. The one thing that you didn't read. You should read it.
I'm like casually like, okay, well, I want it to be something where it's important and adds like extra context if you want it, but you could get by without it. You're like, I have a personal vendetta against you. Read my prologue.
Yes.
different vibes. I also would love my prologue to be read. I actually, out of all of my chapters, it's really kind of sad. My prologue's still my favorite chapter, and I'm like, well, that's not good. They have the whole book to get through.
Your prologue is really strong though.
It's what is making me write the prequel is because I really like the dynamic on page, and I'm like, I would want to read a book about that, and I'm like, great. So, yeah, but I need to focus on the main story, so it's all a mess. What else are people saying?
No reincarnation here in my novel. Sentient libraries, though, excellent.
That's
Can you be
fantastic.
my Jess? I can be everyone's Jess.
No. Fine. I mean, it's fine. Everything that's cool.
There's a sentient house, which is excellent. Sentient houses are my favorite parts of fantasy stories. Oh, gothic
I love when
horrors.
the comments talk to the comments.
I
Like,
love that.
we're not even necessary.
No.
We're just decoration. That's my favorite kind of live show, quite honestly.
Yes. Definitely need readers to read. Readers care far less about rules than writers do. Absolutely. I started out with sticky notes because they kept falling off. I went to using basic outline. Thank heavens for word. Yeah. First book took almost 2 years because I had to learn so much. Yeah. Yeah. I feel that writing, if you want to do it like the structured traditional way, like there's a steep learning curve. It is learn,
Yep.
learn. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Yeah. I was lucky enough that I literally was just stuck at home and I was having like just traumatic moments happen, and I was like, actually, I'm going to disassociate. And so I just wrote 3 entire books and then was randomly talking to Yumi, and Yumi's like, would you like to make them readable? I'll read them.
Publishable, I think I said.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I can make them readable. Sure. So I just gave her my trash, and now
It was good trash.
I'm invested in my trash now.
Excellent. Wonderful.
Yeah.
I like making people invested in their trash.
Yeah, no, it's fully invested trash.
I still don't know what the F I'm doing with plotting. Yeah, it's just I just use Scrivener. Honestly, I don't know if think I'm using it correctly. Okay. I got a thing with Scrivener. Okay.
I'm like, can I disassociate? Should I leave and come back?
No. Okay, so Scrivener is a great writing tool. I'm not gonna say don't use it. If it works for you, it works for you. Just like everything else, if it works and you're happy with it, then I'm not gonna tell you to say no. I fucking hate Scrivener.
I wrote all 3 of my books that I wrote beginning to end on Scrivener. It was at sometimes frustrating, and it did make it more difficult for Yumi to edit later because I gave it to her and she went, "What is this formatting?" And I went, Scrivener. And she went, "What?" And I went, Scrivener. And she went, "Oh, that's fine," because she has love and dedication to her craft. And she's still in the edits I receive, I'll have like paragraph delete, recenter, indent, and it's not like I didn't do any of it. Scrivener automatically does it for you, but it does it in a way that doesn't actually translate to an actual book.
Yeah,
and there might be a way to fix that in the settings. I don't know how, and I already wrote them, so I'm just gonna keep torturing Yumi. I don't write on Scrivener anymore though. I've been using Google Docs.
Yeah, but that's I think I don't know if it's necessarily a problem with the industry or if it's the problem with just how we've collectively as a society have decided that Microsoft Word is the default for everything or whatever. But whenever you have a writing program outside of that, whenever you want to um, turn anything in, they want it in Word or they want it in a PDF, which means that it needs to look like Word.
Right.
So if you try to, and I don't know why it's so hard. I don't know anything about programming or
It was
anything.
really great for just like putting thoughts down, I will say,
Hmm.
because you can change like everything about your settings. Like you can really just immerse yourself
Yeah.
where it's just words on the page and it like no matter what, like it has some really good features to just immerse you for
Yeah.
like not just the plotting aspects, but just like getting everything down. It was
Yeah.
really useful. I would use it again for like plotting because it almost has the sticky note feature. There's a
Yeah.
feature on there where you can do sticky notes. It helps you restructure. At one point, Yumi was like, maybe you could put this here. And I literally took the chapter and just literally dragged it down on
Hmm.
the side of my screen and it like shifted it. And it's like
Yeah.
there's some really cool features on there for the beginnings of it. I
Hmm.
think just in the editing process is where it gets really funky and you'd probably want to switch over. But like
Yeah.
creative juicing, I think it
Yeah.
has lots of pros.
Yeah. I,
But
I
if you
I will
want to publish,
100% agree with that.
you'll probably have to do something with it later. So just have that in mind. But there's
Yeah. Like
yeah,
I would
creative juicing.
I
That's what a disgusting thing I said.
it's fine. It's fine. We It's a safe place here. Um
Yeah.
no, I don't I would almost like as stupid as this sounds, I would almost say when you're writing in Scrivener, don't even bother to format because you're going to have to reformat. And if it's already, because I think the way that it transferred, every single one was like manually indented, like every
Yeah.
single paragraph. So then
Yes.
you have to unmanual or like manually
Yeah.
undo that, and then yeah, it's a
I'm
nightmare.
trying to fix it now,
Hmm.
in my second book because I wrote all three.
Yeah.
So like I'm like I can maybe because I've seen how many of your edits you've done. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, I can maybe emulate this. I don't know exactly what it's supposed to look like, but I've seen where you've indented and where you've
Hmm.
gotten rid of things. And I'll be like, okay. So as I've gone through some scenes, I've tried to fix it in Google
Hmm.
Docs, but I'm also like, some of these are going to be perfectly fine. And then other ones are going to be like, you'll just be like, oh, it's a Scrivener chapter. This is fun.
Yeah, it's
let
fine.
me let me stop reading to fix this. Anyway, that
It's all
was
good.
there's the Scrivener rant. What else we got?
uh, let's see. One of my readers suggested a prequel. I have a few ideas, but need to get more history under my belt. It's always, uh, I was always a science nerd. Writing was an outlet in college, and then life happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what
So
actually
similar when
with
life happened.
this, I I suggested this with Cheyenne as well because she has like a trilogy, I think probably more than for her like main series of books, and I was like, why don't you just write a prequel to like enjoy the world a little bit because we also really enjoy a couple of her characters, and I think first off it's really helped her, but also she's like we were talking and she was like, I think it's probably better if I have the prequel written before I write the main series of books because you can see a lot of these where it's like this was the thing that was written and it was the trilogy and then they come out with a prequel and it doesn't quite match up and
Yeah,
it
because they're
feels
trying to make a
different.
book match up with a book that already exists, so they
Hmm.
already have limitations on it. And
Yeah.
I have to say, I really like things I did in my prequel writing of just like experimenting with this one character. It didn't affect things in book one as much because book one is so solidified as like the introduction of like
Hmm.
what larger things are going to happen. But book two, it highly changed the outcome of like how my characters react to things because I knew them so much better after
Yeah.
writing like even just like a childhood of one of the characters. I was like, okay, I understand you better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the opposite. Like I think that readers can sort of instinctually tell when you're like trying to shoehorn things to fit something that's already written as opposed to writing it sort of chronologically, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Feel
Yeah.
like I'm probably this is like the most dangerous topic, but I feel like that's one of the reasons why Sarah J. Moss doesn't like appeal to me as much is because there are some things where like you'll get Easter eggs, and I know she has something super plotted out. Like I'm not
Mhm.
calling her out as like not having a plot because she obviously has like a larger, grander theme. She writes very large stories out of chronological order and then meshes them all together. And she does like that's not something I'm saying she can't do, but I can tell every single time she has shoehorned something in. Like I'll be like, that absolutely doesn't work, and I know you're just doing this as an Easter egg. This doesn't actually make sense.
Yeah.
But people will like gobble it up anyway because she's pretty popular.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I mean, if you haven't heard of her, I know what I'm talking about. I have words to say anyway.
I have Scrivener and honestly barely use it. It works great for some things like outlining, but I dislike drafting on Scrivener. Yeah. I think going forward, I'd like a different platform for drafting because I use Word and Scrivener. I like Scrivener for outlining. I don't read a lot of YA or romance, so I haven't read her, but I've heard of her plenty.
Yeah. Okay. Unavoidable, even if you don't enjoy or read the genre. Fantastic.
Yeah, pretty much. I use Word too, uncomplicated, simple, and I don't need to make another purchase. Yeah, I think I use Word as a default because it's just I don't have to worry about like reformatting for submissions. But also, I've actually come to like Google Docs.
I
It's
really like
not,
Google Docs after your book is finished. For the editing process, it's fantastic. And I really like Google Docs too. Scrivener was a gift, so which I just totally ragged on, but it has a lot of good qualities. I wouldn't have written my book as quickly. So
yeah. I just learned with Word, so it's easier. Yeah, same.
Yeah, it's just all about comfort.
Yeah, definitely. Google Docs are great.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting because I think that Word has gotten better over the years because they know like they're not just going for like an office thing, like everyone uses Word, so they're trying to give more things so that like I think this should go here. That's a feature now in Word.
Oh, so
and I did not know that.
I have a MacBook Air from like 2014, but it's still
going.
an Apple. But so I have Pages, and I have to whatever you're getting is not like it's not what you want. I'm literally writing on Scrivener, then putting it on freaking a Google Docs, and then exporting it from either Pages or Google Docs into a Word document.
Yeah.
So it's like this is a mess.
It's fine.
But I have heard really good things about Word, and most people use it. I have Pages, so I'm like, is this the same thing? It's not.
and it's stupid because it should be really easy to just go one for one, and it's not, unfortunately. I used to actually, okay, this is going back. There was a program before Pages existed on Apple, because I grew up in an Apple household. It was called Creative Works. That's where I started.
Creative Works.
It was a CWK like it was .cwk.
I feel like I saw that on one of my like middle school, like the ones with the rainbow back computers. I feel like maybe that was on there.
That was where I started. I have a lot of things that I just can't open anymore because of Creative Works, and it doesn't exist.
Oh no!
Like, I mean, it was like stuff that I wrote when I was like 12 and 13, so I'm like, I don't want it.
There's things that you never know. You never know what your little brain came up with, and you could have turned into something or like been inspired. You don't know.
I don't, but I'm pretty sure it was just like preteen angst.
That's popular.
We'll see. I don't know.
I like that Pages has a dark mode, so I can just write on black.
Word also has a dark mode. Word has a focus mode.
You know what? I'm not talking about this anymore.
Yeah.
Oops. I don't have it.
It's expensive. Yeah, Google Docs is nice because it's more accessible and works well for Word. With Word.
And you can also go everywhere. I write on my work computer. Like, I can't access anything on my work computer except for I can access Google Docs. So I'll work on it at home, work at work, not at work, but I don't work at work, but point being is I can go anywhere with it. Like, I can open my document anywhere, which is really nice.
Yeah.
I'm
Writing
reading
Buddy
both
tried
of
to send me a
them.
manuscript via Google Docs. It was hilarious, like the writer's version of the Keystone Cops. Am I stupid?
No, you're not stupid.
Okay. I'm sorry,
I
I don't know
can.
what. Huh?
Why do I do know what Keystone is. I
I'm
have to
not
read it
sure.
again. I have dyslexia. I'm taking that.
Me too.
I'm taking that knee, and I actually do have dyslexia. I'm not just joking about it. I just want to make sure that people don't go on here with dyslexia, and then they're like, "Oh, that was insensitive." I do.
No. Uh, I'm old. We had an hour in computer labs in high school. I had computer lab. Gotta love preteen angst. Yeah, Word has OneDrive, which allows us to use it on any device also. Um, I have had issues with OneDrive because I try to do it on my phone because I'm really terrible and I can't not be connected to my phone. But uh, especially for longer manuscripts, there's sometimes where it will glitch and I can't edit.
Oh.
Yeah, so like it is very useful, and you can do it if you have OneDrive, and it's like any computer, any device, it doesn't matter. But it's not 100%, and Google is just actually 100% on there. I'm older. We only had a few typewriters, and they were reserved for business students. Oh
Oh.
my goodness! Actually,
Dang.
I've always wanted to have a typewriter to like just try. I've heard that it actually is like it's so depending on which one you get, it actually does wreck your hands because it's actually really tough.
Oh.
But definitely didn't have typewriters in school. Had one at home though. No computer until I was well grown.
That's what
Keystone Cops
Keystone
were
is. Ugh.
okay.
Okay.
Sorry. We're like I feel dumb.
Sometimes I feel really old, and sometimes every once in a while I'll feel really young, like childish, like underdeveloped. It's really just completely shifts back and forth depending. So,
I
I'm
mean,
sorry. You know
yeah.
what? I was thinking of a Keystone like in college, I think. Nope, that's not the same thing. That's something totally different. Never mind. Just ignore
Okay.
me.
No, it's good.
Help.
Well, I think we've had a lot to
Yeah,
say,
we
and
had a
this
long
has been
break.
so fun. So,
Yeah.
like, I think we should probably get back
Yeah,
into
especially since
another.
we have so many writers in here, like,
I know.
yo,
I'm
we
actually
should
really.
write. Let's write.
Yeah, I actually, I wanted to ask really quick, because everyone's here and like everyone's like really involved. Is this a good time for everybody, or like maybe a little bit later?
Oh, that's a good
Because
question.
if it is a good time, then I might switch up generally, and
If you
Cheyenne.
did, that would mean I would get to watch
Yes.
live.
I know, because usually it's like 8 p.m. my time, which is like 6 hours from now, more than.
Yeah.
So yeah. But if this is good, like let me know in the comments. We'll see how that goes. So I'm gonna go to sleep. It was lovely chatting. Thank you so much for
Yes.
being here. And yes,
Thanks
go
for
go
coming,
sleep. Go
Jess.
sleep.
Good seeing you.
All right. Well, let's
It's
get
not good for
to
Canada. That was the answer for that.
no. Yeah, that's unfortunately it's really early. But
Yeah.
let us do the thing. There we go. So we'll see you in about 25 minutes.
Cool. Hello.
Hi.
How'd
I
it go?
good. Um, maybe 2/3 of the way through this chapter, so
Nice.
good. And
Right.
it looks like this may be a good time. So, and a second cup of tea, excellent.
Nice.
Yeah. So I might, I don't know. We'll see how this goes.
I
I
mean, yeah, you can try
think
rotating too to just, you know.
yeah,
I don't
catch
know what
some
that does
people.
algorithm wise or anything like that, but
Not great algorithm wise, but let's be honest, I'm not made for the algorithms.
yeah, no. I guess at some point the algorithm just doesn't matter because it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's not going to listen or help you anyway.
Yeah. No, we're a little too niche, I think.
yeah.
And I actually don't know 100%, but every time I try to like look up like AuthorTube or WriterTube, whatever, it everyone's like AuthorTube's dead, WriterTube's dead. I'm like, is it? Or what is happening? I don't know. Went to the store to buy some sticky notes, realized had none left, started working on figure out a plot. Awesome.
Ooh,
Excellent. Also,
nice.
sorry. Kitty cat, say hello.
Oh, I get a face instead of a butt. What a
I know she
blessing.
I have my window open, but it's cloudy and rainy, but she keeps on wanting to be like, are there birds? Are there birds? I need to look at the birds."
Yeah. No, she was in the background earlier, but
Mhm.
literally it was she just walked
Just the
by and
butt.
I only saw her butt and I was like, okay, this is becoming a trend and it's rude.
Yeah, I love her. I had some dinner guests over last night, so she was like, she's very friendly cat. She loves people, but she also there were 10 people in the house, and she was a little overwhelmed. So
Sure. Loves people, I love cake. If I'm having 10 cakes,
yeah, it's
it
a
might
little
be a lot
much.
of
Yeah.
it's a lot of cake.
Captain, I'm so glad you're here.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. How are you doing? Oh, so yeah, how are you doing, by the way? I know we're heading up on 2 hours, so
Yeah, no, I'm doing okay.
you doing
It's
okay?
yeah. I'm all right.
Okay.
I'm trying as I start to yawn, I'm like, that's not gonna help.
No.
But yeah, no, I'm all right. I
Okay.
was I just had an ice cream randomly like while I was writing. I was just like because I write with one hand. My other
Mhm.
hand, my left hand, the first thing to go if someone's ever like you have to get rid of a body part,
Mhm.
we've intended to take away one of your body parts, you're going to be an amputee. I'm going to be like, this one.
No.
Like,
Okay.
I'll have a really quick answer. They'll be like, okay, so we expected, some sort of scuffle here. We're like,
Yeah,
nope,
no,
this one.
we got the one. I've thought about this before.
We're fine. We don't need to have a conversation about it. I'm not going to struggle. Please, it's fine.
Yes.
Let's take the left one. But yeah, like I type just with my right hand. So I was like, I had my left hand. I was just chilling, and I was like, it'd be so great if I had food. And I was like, I should just go get food. So I was literally eating an ice cream bar while typing out a scene, and there was like blood, and I was like, cool, cool. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm fine.
writer problems, writing out an intense scene while also eating dinner.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, if you're watching a movie, what are you watching?
What's the movie?
Yes. WriterTube is not dead yet. I
Yet.
would love to know more because
Love the
yeah,
yet.
like I don't know because like people are like overly dramatic and then it becomes like a pile on thing if everyone has an opinion about what this thing is. So I didn't know if it was that, but I'm like I'm just gonna do my thing here.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it
And
can also be discouraging if someone's like, "Oh yeah, you're on a dead platform." It's like, "Okay, but I'm
thanks
here,
for
so it's
that.
not completely dead. It's just niche." Yeah.
Also, this pun came to me. If banned from Seven Deadly Sins and Gohan from Dragon Ball, are you a character that are you are your
Are you
character
sure?
crushes? You say dinner's being served.
Gohan, dinner. I get it. I'm
Yep.
I'm here. I have arrived.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was one of the things. Like I was like, oh no, like as a kid, being like Gohan is it's Gohan.
Sure, when you're
Like
growing up and you speak Japanese, I'm sure that it was really like you're
yeah.
like,
Well, no, because I
"Okay,
was like, no, it can't be that. It's like it's got to be something else. And then I realized much later that the theme of many of the naming
Vegeta,
conventions, like, no, it's food. It's straight up
vegetable."
food.
Yeah.
My God.
Yep. Yep. It's I mean, well, okay, so the fighters, the Saiyans are based off of
Mm,
foods.
yes.
But then like Bulma's family, like in
Hmm.
Trunks and stuff like that, they're
Yeah.
based off of like clothing.
Hmm.
So it's like bloomers, I can't remember the other ones. I can't remember Bulma's parents' names. But
I
they're
can't either.
all I mean, their last name is Trunk or not Trunks.
Or
No.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like the whole thing is like based off of it. So
That's so funny.
yeah, she named her kid Trunks. I can't believe I'm rusty on
Oh,
Dragon Ball Z.
oh my generational differences. We are here. I watched the horror anthology All Hallows Eve.
Right on.
Krillin and Yamcha are also yeah they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. The fighters. Got
Briefs. There we go.
briefs. Thank you. Oh, God, I was
It's
really
been a
messing
bit.
with me. I'm like, Bulma. Bulma, what's your last name? Briefs. Owners of Capsule Corp.
Yes.
Anyway.
Anime.
Yeah.
Actually, so I don't know if you watched the Dragon Ball Abridged series on YouTube.
A little bit of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they finished the abridged series a while ago, but they're still like the channel is still quite popular because they do other things as well. Okay, goodbye. Um and
Love
they're
the left.
actually to the point where they're doing commentary on the old episodes that are like 10 years old now. And
Okay.
so but like my husband and I are actually watching the commentary. So it's been great. It's like I don't even know what the like original cast of characters sound like in the original because all I can hear is Dragon Ball Z abridged.
That's haunting.
That is a little haunting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely like a lot of people because when I first like Dragon Ball Z, people made fun of me for it. And then it was somewhere in like the throes of high school. Hot Topic started selling Dragon Ball Z stuff, and I
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna
Why?
punch the staff because like you were pretty mean to me about it. Like, and then like at some point people started saying like quotes and things like that, and I was like, that's a misquote though. Like I was really
Mhm.
confused, and then I realized like that had gotten popular and started to trend, and then Dragon Ball Z got like it was very confusing, but like a lot of the misquotes or like things were actually from the abridged version
Mhm.
that they had created. And so like I was like, am I crazy or did that actually happen? And like and then
Yeah.
I started watching them and I was watching them and then I'd watch the episodes and I'd be like, oh, that didn't even actually happen. Like
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
started to get mixed up in my own head. But yeah, no, it was really interesting. Interesting time.
Yeah. They were fun. I had an older brother and cousins. I watched Dragon Ball first.
Oh,
I wish that I had seen Dragon Ball first because I think that that may have like carried over my love into
I
that.
was watching it on Cartoon Network
Mhm.
after school. So I was watching Dragon Ball Z first because that's what was available to me at that time. Um, it wasn't my first anime because my dad was actually like an early weeb. He like very much so liked like a whole bunch of anime and stuff like that. He was very nerdy.
Yeah.
Um, but then yeah, I was watching Dragon Ball Z and I was watching all the way through and then at one point they started like doing Dragon Ball episodes like alongside it and I was like, it's Goku as a kid. And so I was invested in that way, but I think it would have there were some in jokes that would have made more sense if I'd started with Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think I had a weird childhood with that because even though like I'm Japanese, my grandparents were obviously not into like all the new animation or whatever, and my dad was
Sure.
not, definitely he didn't grow up with any of that, but he did have some knowledge. So like I can't remember if I started with Sailor Moon or because that was on TV when we were kids, or if I started with Speed Racer. I can't remember which came first because Speed
Uh,
Racer was a bad dub. It was
right.
really terrible. But I have very fond memories of Speed Racer. And I think that Dragon Ball was available, but it was when I was going to Japanese school on Saturdays, and it was not in English. So I didn't know what it was. It may have been in Spanish. It may have been in Japanese. I don't remember. Hell, cat, are you gonna go or not? There's no birds. She's taking her sweet ass time getting off.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I'm what was it? I'm Dutch. Half our kid shows were produced and aired in Japan. Yeah, we had that for a while. In the '80s, a lot of things were repackaged. And yeah, way more appropriate than Guyver and Akira.
Oh, I watched Akira. So I watched Akira before I watched Dragon Ball Z
Mm-hmm.
because my dad was like, "This one's good. You'll like this one," and I was like,
Okay, Dad.
he was a young dad. He was a young nerdy dad. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, she likes these types of things. She'll really like this." Like, go hung. Like it just went for it. Just was like, "Yeah, let's do this." But yeah. Yeah. So I watched
Traumatizing.
Akira. Yeah, it's terrifying. But also I he wasn't wrong. I liked it. Like he was not
Yeah.
wrong. I yeah, but it was also really gory and really just intense.
Yeah.
I also watched Perfect Blue, which is really dark. I'll Google that one later, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's real dark. Watched that around the age of 10 and came out on the other side, but would not recommend it watching it at the age of 10.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
The original Speed Racer was around when I was a kid. Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
love Speed Racer. I genuinely like had a fondness for Speed Racer.
As an aside, because I found this out relatively recently, the people who were in charge of writing this new like the English script for Speed Racer actually didn't have a translator and they had zero idea what was going on. So they
What?
just so
Okay.
they watched the episode and was like, this is probably what's happening, which is the reason why the narrative is actually different in Japanese versus
How would
English.
it not be? Because context is not going to give you enough. Like
I
I
mean,
bumble my way
it's
through.
close enough, but it's not good. It's not good. Yeah. So
Oh
that was fun.
man, it'd be so fun to narrate like my coworkers' lives throughout the day and just tell them like how I experienced their day, and then they can tell me like how wrong I was about it.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, like I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine the kind of just like small misconceptions that can happen, even just cultural differences
Mhm.
aside, just
Mhm.
like in just watching something happen in interaction and hand movements, just being like, guess he's pissed, and he's like, I just had a baby.
Yeah.
Like, like you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Tekman Blade Club Technoman is an early one for me. The first ones in Japanese were Spriggan Golden Boy.
Golden Boy, yeah.
I didn't know about Golden Boy until I married my husband, and he's like, "Yeah, Golden Boy." I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" And then he's like, "We're watching an episode." It was ridiculous.
Nice.
All right. So I think we're slowing down a little bit. Do we want to head into another sprint?
Yeah, I could probably. Do we want to do what we want to do one more? How are you doing? Like what?
I'm doing fine. It's only like 3 p.m. for me, so it
Mm.
more for you because it's quite late.
It's fine. I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm good to do another one, and then I'll probably head to bed just so I've
Okay.
not completely ruined my sleep schedule, but it's not
Yeah.
so late here like that I couldn't get through another sprint and be like fine. Like
Okay.
it's 10 p.m. I'm a literal baby. Like
Okay. It's okay. I get sleepy and then I'm like, no, it's not midnight yet. I can push through. I'm like, man, I'm getting
yeah,
old.
no, I'll
Okay.
literally as soon as I start writing again, I'll be like, oh yeah, and then there's this happening. Like when I was writing, I was like, I gotta get ice cream. Don't know what kind of drug that is, but like I was like, I gotta go. I'm gonna be up for hours. I need ice cream. Like I don't know.
It's all good.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Let's do another 25 and we'll do that. See you then. All right, and that I believe is it.
Yeah.
How did you do?
Good. I mean, good.
Good.
Yeah. Let's circle back. How did you do?
I did great. I got interrupted because Cheyenne is talking about the sweet child that she's babysitting today. So I got interrupted, but before that, I was great.
Great. Okay.
So let's see. Yeah. Apparently, Captain had not slept, so I was like,
Okay.
go to
Well,
bed.
I am glad that he's at least attempting sleep.
Yes. I woke up this morning dreaming of a scene with my characters. It doesn't even belong in this book.
I feel that.
Write it down anyway. Write it down
Yeah.
anyway. Had to delete Misty the attack poodle from my book. I'm bringing her back, but I can't just copy and paste it. Damn it. And did some more character work. Excellent.
Nice.
Still like what how many pages is this stupid manuscript? It's 497 pages. Because I can't do anything small. So yeah, I'm like 3/4 of the way through the actual manuscript, and I'm like, I still don't think that I added enough description.
Oh god. Okay.
Yeah, I have a problem.
I feel like I have that problem, but I only have that problem now because you made me have that problem because I didn't have enough of that problem before. Before I underwrote, and then, I just had like just paragraphs of random things. And you're like, can you tell me what this room looks like? Can you tell me what they're eating? Can you tell me what she's feeling? And I'm like, no. But now I told you what they're eating, thinking, feeling, doing, looking. It's
And
almost like you had me write a book. It was really annoying.
I know.
You want to know what's happening? Why?
It can't be vibes.
Shut up. So, right now I'm not writing well, okay, the scene has vibes, but it's not like calm vibes. It's like the opposite of calm. It's poor.
Yeah.
But I'm like struggling with I guess I don't know if this would be pacing or tone, but like I've written fight scenes and I've written like strategic scenes where it's like the character's really thinking about like something like in depth or like calculating what to do. I'm trying to write a scene where it's almost like if it were chess, but like
Mhm,
they're in the battle right now. So like strategic things are happening, but there's
mhm.
also actions that sometimes follow them with like long pauses or gaps of like what happens next and like the thought process behind it. So I'm like
Okay.
struggling to be like pretty much, I guess, yeah. Yeah, I don't, it's a scene that's at a battle, and
Mhm.
sometimes battles are not just brung, brung,
Yeah.
fighting things. Like there's moments where it's like it's nighttime and they're like talking about the scene, and then it's like
Mhm.
next, or like one of them can freaking mind read, which does slow things down a little because it's like,
Yeah, you're having to do a lot of things all at once on the
yeah, I'm
page.
like, how do I not slow down this scene because it is supposed to be action filled?
Mhm.
I do need suspense in it. The stakes are higher. This book is just has higher stakes in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, but I have to put in those that information because I did learn. I did try and create a book
Yeah.
this time. Um, so it's like, yeah. So I like that's where I was like, I'm good, I'm great. I don't actually know if I'm well.
Oh. That might be a thing, well, this might need several different points of attack. One of them might just be you write it how you write it, and then you fix it later.
Right.
Because at least it's my favorite analogy of putting sand in the sandbox, so then you can play in the sandbox.
There is some sand already in the sandbox. I
Yeah.
need to play in it a little bit.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
The two other things that might need to happen is one, you actually seek out stories, novels, whatever, to get an idea of how other people have done it. Like
Mhm.
specifically seek out the stories that you know are going to have different battle scenes, and maybe like look for yep,
Fix this
looking for
up.
recommendations.
Like,
Um,
I read the thing, I'm like, yeah, that's similar
yeah,
to what I need.
and the other thing, because I know we talked about this, but because you're a very visual person,
Yeah.
um, watching movies, watching TV shows, and trying to, instead of like enjoying it, but pull yourself out of it and then looking at what they're doing as far as pacing is, and like try to
Right.
notice the things that are happening.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and then you
Yeah.
can put more sand in the sandbox.
Yeah. It needs more sand.
Yeah.
I don't want it to slow down too much. Like
Hmm.
I want to make sure like kind of, you know, like I was reading in a Brandon Sanderson book. Which one
Hmm.
was it? Oh, it was the third book. It was the third in the Mistborn trilogy.
Okay.
There is a war going on, and there's also a character. I'm not about to like spoil Mistborn
Hmm.
for anyone. Don't even worry about it.
Okay.
Like, but there's a character who's figuring out a lot of plot information, but is
Hmm.
also in a battle. And I
Hmm.
need to reread that scene again because like that is like one of the big like moments happen in
Okay.
there. There's like a lot of oh, aha, oh, this
Hmm.
is happening. It's almost like also world building. And it's also like, but there's fighting happening. So it's like,
Okay. That yeah,
yeah,
that might be a good template to just make
yeah.
notes about.
Brandon Sanderson's my template. That's terrifying, but that's fine.
I was on it. Okay, to be honest, I've only read one Brandon Sanderson. Is the first in the Mistborn series, but this is I've seen him teach creative writing. He has an excellent series on YouTube. Like he has his entire, I think it's one semester of his BYU
Yeah.
classes. Yes,
I've
that
watched
that is
I've watched a few of them and they're really good.
yeah,
Oh, I should see if there's one specific to. Yeah, I'll look to see because I've watched them pretty much just when they're recommended to me on my
yeah.
YouTube thing. Where I'm like, oh yeah, I've read your books. You're great.
Yeah, actually, this is for everyone here. If you don't have time or you don't want to actually pay for creative writing classes, just look at the Brandon Sanderson his lecture series. That is essentially every single class that I've ever taken about the theory of writing and like the craft of writing. So he gave it to you for free. I had to pay almost $200,000. Don't do what I did.
Don't go to school.
Don't
Stay
go
out
to
of school,
school.
kids.
At least not for this. God damn.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Let's see. It's easy
Yeah.
to get caught up in story and then fall into white room syndrome. Yeah.
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 Yes. Yeah.
Ground the character.
Mm-hmm. In the story, because you can have a really grounded character and you can know your character and then be like, oh, but I can just place them in a black box. And it's like, yeah, you can do
You could.
black box theater with your character, or you could write a story.
Human design.
Yeah, you can write a book.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it's
second
good.
time around. Yeah. And I'm coming from almost zero experience until recently. Like
Mhm.
until I like went and just like wrote the damn thing the first time and then did it again because I was like, there's more to the story and I need this, and like did the third arc and found my ending. And then I was like, oh shit, I wrote a lot. And then like went back. But before that, I literally had almost zero experience. So it's completely normal to, I think, come from zero experience and be like, I'm gonna stick a whole bunch of really interesting ideas in a white room.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
it's very, very common.
yeah.
But it's practice, just like
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah.
Practice.
Damn practice.
I know. But well, I think we will call it here. Thank you
Okay.
everyone for being here. I know that it's really early for some of you. And we'll be back in, or I will be back in 2 weeks with Cheyenne, which is the 25th of February. So
Nice.
we'll do
I'll
that.
be
And
in Hiroshima.
yeah. Oh, are you just gonna like tour around or?
We're staying there for about 4 or 5 days.
Ooh,
So
very
yeah, I
fun.
might have to watch that one way later.
Totally
So
fine. Like,
yeah.
we'll still say hi.
Great. Yeah, thank you.
I I'm not going back to school. I have enough. Yeah, just don't.
I mean, what a
Just
great
brand.
sentence though. I have enough degrees as it is. That's fantastic.
That is
That's
excellent.
very cool. I always love
Uh,
finding out what people's degrees are in too, because like you'll get like I'll meet someone and they'll like I'll have like a really good creative conversation with them and they'll be like, anyway, my background's biology. Like writers come from everywhere. Where
yeah.
I'm like, you can have a background in anything and it's cool when it shows up in the writing, but then
Mhm.
sometimes it's like, nope, not there present at all. Has a degree in, like I don't even know, gene fusion is like, anyway, here's my contemporary romance. It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
love that. So yeah, so
I think
very
I
cool.
knew an accountant, like not a spicy accountant, like an actually like was in
Not a
an
spicy
office.
accountant. Thank you
Yeah,
for clarifying.
sorry, just because for the for the chronically online, not a spicy accountant, a real accountant. And it was like, wow, this book is really good. It's like a really like good world. And I was like, what did you do before this? Because we were in a master's course. She's like, yeah, I was an accountant. I was an accountant for a long time. Like, really? Just doing numbers and just mass hallucinating or
Yeah,
something. It was
that is
great.
how spicy.
Yeah. But yes, always. And yeah.
Well, thank you for the
I
company. Thanks for
Yes,
everyone
thank
like
you.
talking and chatting. Like there were some good conversations. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
It was
this is
fun.
probably one of the more lively chat show live shows that we've done. Oh my god.
Y'all are lively. You're
Yeah.
spry.
So yeah, we normally do this much later in the day, so just look out for announcements.
Yeah.
I usually announce on Twitter is where I'm still at, so look for me there or subscribe to the channel because it will definitely notify you when I put that up. But thank you so much, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Bye. Thanks, guys. Ooh, biology. Nice.